Okay. We were transmitting before we should have. Maybe I can edit the video down later. Never mind. Right, we're back with Dragon Warriors. We're down a player, but we'll carry on regardless. So, we were exploring the ruins beneath Zathos, and digging deep there. We'd been through quite a bit. Now, Jack, you weren't here last session.
Oh.
Were you? What have we done? Cleared a passage, gone down the steps, explored several halls, broke, then fixed a mechanism to unlock some doors, failed to fight a water elemental, which turned out to be a good thing. Caesura nearly drowned, but then didn't. There were some pools of water. And I think that's where we were last.
But there was an undead critter we fought as well, yes?
Oh, yes. The corrupted, whatever it was. Yeah.
And I was here the whole time.
Yes.
But rotting flesh and sundering skulls and so on that I still remember vaguely.
Yes. So we'd just done the Chamber of the Three Pools. After opening some chests and getting some treasure out of that was the next room. Okay, so that's where we are. With your hirelings holding the lamps for you, though you did lose a hireling.
Yes, I was just going to say, I have his name here on my cheat sheet here.
Ubertino was crushed by falling masonry.
Yes, Ubertino.
Oh, not Ubertino.
Yes.
He was my favourite one.
Bloody meetings.
Alright, so the chamber you were last in, was the Chamber of Three Pools. And out from here, there's the door back the way you came to the chests. There's a door in the southwest leading on into the rest of the dungeon. And there's a door to the southeast, which is unexplored.
Now, usually I'm very good at telling where we are in the dungeon, because I can kind of like mentally map where we are, but I'm starting off in the middle of a dungeon. Help, guys.
Wherever we go, there we are.
Which way do you want to go, left or right?
Left.
Are we sticking with left, as is tradition?
Yeah.
Good idea.
Okay. Your left or the map's left?
Oh, you had to make it difficult, didn't you?
I'm assuming you're left.
Our left.
I left you.
Right. You push open the door. This one isn't too tricky or isn't trapped or anything. And pass on through into the room beyond. This is a hallway made of smooth blocks of grey stone, unlike the marble that most of the rest of the place seems to be built out of, and is carved with decorative scrolls and shells along the edges where it joins the ceiling. It extends for some 40 metres into the cavernous depths of the underworld, before ending at a second set of grey stone doors.
I was wondering when that was going to happen. How many sessions has it been? I have a tick.
I thought that was somebody's dog barking. Sorry.
That was me.
Always blame me.
Sorry.
It'll be fine.
No
I was
worries.
just so happy.
Yes. Yeah. You announce your presence returning with the noise. Okay, so yeah, it's a long hall with some big stone doors at the far end.
Any markings on the door, Grim?
No, they're just simple slabs of grey stone.
I'll put my hand on the wall and try and see if I can get a vibe for what's behind
Okay.
it.
Make a vibe roll.
And,
Caesura, you're a bit too far from the stone door to pick out details, but it does look like the surface is carved. It's just you're too far away to get a decent look at what the carvings are.
Cautiously, I walk up.
Okay. Well, let's get the vibe result first.
Yep,
Yep.
made it 14.
Okay, you feel a lurking presence of danger in the room.
I will tell everyone else that.
Okay.
We still haven't rested yet, have we? So I'll still be exhausted from the last session, won't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. So you call out your warning, and Cesora was carrying on down the way, yeah?
Yeah. Cautiously.
Carry on. I'll go around the edge.
So
Yeah. What's Cesora's perception?
14.
Okay. As some of the others start to move, at least around the edge, or get the vibes of everything, and you step forward with the henchman in tow to give you a bit of light, you spot a crack in a different place than it should be in the floor, and that brings you up short. There's something odd about a big section of this floor.
Point my sword out. Is it an illusion?
It's not an illusion.
How deep is this crack? Does it look like it's natural or?
No, it looks like it's engineered, like it's a replacement for part of the floor.
How far? Does it go from the floor up the wall or from one end of the floor to the other?
Just across the floor.
Does it look like a? Does it look like it's going to hinder us in any way?
No.
I.e., any harm? Does it look like it's going to give us any harm or?
It's just like a section has essentially been cut out of the floor and replaced.
Does it look like it's been done? Does it look like it's been done recently?
No.
Right. I'll mention this to the rest of the gang. I'm no architect, but there's one big crack in this floor.
It's in the wall or the floor?
The floor.
Do we have to tread over it, or can we skirt that section of the floor?
There's a thin part around to the outside where you don't have to tread on it.
Then we simply walk around.
Yes, I would recommend, however, that we use some pythons and rope again, so we have a makeshift handrail as we cross that skinny part, just to be on the safe side. Assuming we can even penetrate the walls with our mundane tools.
This stone isn't as expensive or as strong as many of the other materials used here, so yeah, you can easily hammer pitons and hold on to the side. So it takes a while, but eventually you get past that section of floor and up to the stone door.
How wide was the crack, Grim?
Almost all the way across the room. It's just like a paving edge either side is left free, which you've had to kind of shuffle along.
It looks like we're paving then.
So on the far side, the grey stone door is decorated with carvings of crabs and conch shells. The handles are made from serpentine and alabaster.
I know what alabaster is. What is serpentine? So I don't have to.
I think from memory, it's a soft, easily workable stone.
Okay. I'll look it up later on when I have a moment.
That's funny
hi.
because I didn't know what alabaster was, but I knew what serpentine was.
Well, you've heard alabaster skin described, yeah? Meaning very pale, sort of china doll. No.
That's
high is
what
the door?
that means then.
Yeah, serpentine is a soft greenish stone which is quite easily worked.
And how high are the doors, Grim?
How high are
It's
the
got
doors?
asbestos in it.
Yeah, they're about 2 meters high.
Oh,
No keyhole?
No keyhole, just handles.
I wish I had that spider sense to know it's any trouble behind the door.
You've got your trap sense.
Okay, I'll check for any traps.
Okay, make a roll on that.
Trap. Let's see. Where are you? You get under sigh. What is sigh again? Here we go. 4.
Okay. You do not sense any traps.
Doors clean, guys.
Then allow me. I'll put my hands on the door and push.
Okay. They swing open easily. Yet another example of the fine engineering to be found throughout this dungeon, even though it's collapsing in bits and pieces. Behind the door, you find a small white temple chamber carved with representations of tritons and crabs. It features 4 large round Doric columns and a central dais upon which is set a conch shell. Conch shell. That's hard to say one after the other.
Any doors out here? Except for one.
No.
Is the shell
It's a dead end.
is the shell golden? I remember us being on the alert for a golden shell from before.
No, but it's unusually smooth and unusually large.
I'll walk over to the conch
Okay.
and lift it from the dais.
Okay. It lifts up from the dais. It's big. It's weighty. There's a hole at one end, which is slightly worn and smooth.
It seems to be some sort of instrument.
Whatever you do, don't blow it.
Yes, I was going to say, obviously it's used for blowing and so on, but I wonder if it could be inserted into something as a key, perhaps.
I was just about to lift it to my lips. Why shouldn't I blow on it?
You can blow it if you want, but it's your funeral.
Is there an analog story in this world to the walls of Jericho and whatnot?
Probably. Yeah, probably a story of the true faith about that. Yeah.
I'll mention that in proper context. What if it has amplified sound waves or so on, and maybe it's a living trap meant to collapse the roof in upon us? Or it might even be used to control a water elemental with the proper tune. Who knows?
I suppose it would be wise to figure out what it does before wantonly blowing into it. That's what
Do
she
you have
said.
any musical talent or fifing ability?
Not in particular. Let's stow it away for later.
Okay.
Anyone in our band a musician or musically inclined?
I don't think anyone is. So, yeah, the most you could do is go toot through it. Well, there doesn't seem to be any other way out of here, so that leaves you with little choice but to go back whence you came.
So there's no illusions in this room then. We're inside.
No. Nothing is revealed.
I think, Sir Elaine, given the fact that everything along this way, I mean, we're penetrating this far, maybe a small toot on it might reveal a door or activate a portal or something in here. My instincts about maybe blowing on it have changed, given that there are no exits here. What does anyone else or everyone else think?
I think you should blow it since you're intrigued to see what it's going to do.
I'll give it a blow. If everyone, I guess you don't want to, might not want to be in this chamber when I do, or
You think I'm
As soon as
scared?
no.
As soon as the conch is going towards someone's lips, Grim, my sword is on guard. So if anything is going to attack us, I'm going to attack it first.
Okay, so everyone's staying in the room?
That's an ominous question. Yes, let's do it.
Okay, and who's tooting it?
I guess me.
Okay. You go, but the sound builds and builds and builds. Just at the point where it would be painful and the room's shaking slightly, it dies away into a low sort of humming tone, and there's a gust of what feels like fresh sea air through the room. You can all regain 2d6 health points if you've lost any. Psychic exhaustion goes away, and any other magician can regain 1d6 spell points.
Were we injured?
You weren't.
Yeah, I wasn't. I'm fine.
I'm back to full Grim.
Okay.
I can use my mental abilities on myself again. Yay!
Other than your regular free abilities, yeah.
Can I have a look at that punch for a minute, sir?
Yeah, I
Right,
feel amazing. It seems to
Right.
be some sort of rejuvenation horn.
I'll look at John's character and say, "Did you get any buzz out of this?" And I'll hold it so you can actually look at it. Pick anything from it.
It did refresh my my sense of energy and vitality somewhat.
Right. Does it look like it's dormant now, or does it still have that je ne sais quoi, like magical glow?
I'll examine it and perhaps very, very closely pay attention to it. Let me.
Well, that's
handle
why
it
I'm holding it. That's why I'm holding it, so you can look at it in my hands.
Before I do that, however, how did Garcias react to the horn? Is this something he now immediately wants to take possession of or lay claim upon, or?
It's not what he's after, so he was pleased and seems a little less sweaty than he was a minute ago.
Since it did refresh my stores of magical energy somewhat, I might as well just feed that back in, and perhaps I can use Detect Aura and try to examine it a little more closely, if I may.
Yeah.
And
So
I will do that.
spend the magic points.
Yeah.
And Abbas can see that it's slightly magical as well. Your aura sight shows that while the magic has been depleted for now, the horn and the room are in magical resonance with each other.
So it is location linked here, most likely.
So it would seem.
Okay. Can I get any sense of the rate of refreshment or reharmonization of their energies or so on? A recharge rate by any inference?
Probably once a day.
Okay. It seems that somehow or other the horn, the magic of the horn is tied to the room itself. And I suspect this is an item that can be used, or the blessings invoked, probably once a day. I don't know if it would refresh with dawn or midnight or a full 24-hour period, but it seems like a devotional item that's linked here, and it's a daily item.
So it won't work if we take it away.
Probably not. Perhaps we should return it to its location and maybe utter a small blessing to whoever you want to give thanks to, and move on.
Sounds like a plan. Okay. I'll put a handful of coins down, Grim.
Okay, as an offering. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, and after replacing the conch, you make your way back to the other room, there being no other further way on. That also leaves you only one set of doors left to go through. So, at least that you haven't been through already.
This is the temple.
The door opens inward, revealing a richly furnished room, lined with columns and decorated with friezes of nereids and... or was it nereids? Oh, never mind. Watery tarts and dolphins. There is a solid-looking stone door on the other side of the room. Once, long ago, the benches at the walls might have been richly upholstered leather and sandalwood, but they are now nothing more than ruined scraps. There's... door... No, sorry, there's the door you came through, and a passageway continues on to the southwest.
These freezes, are there any clues as to functions of anything going on in this temple when it was active? Or are they just decorative?
They seem to be just decorative, fantastical scenes, probably intended to venerate their water gods. Poseidos in particular.
Let's go the way we haven't gone.
Alright, so you pass on down the corridor and arrive at a T-junction. Three passages meet at this junction. There's a large carving of a bright red crab on the wall here as well. So you're at the sort of top of the T, and the long part of the T is extending down to the southeast. So there's a door directly ahead of you. There's the carving of the crab in the wall to your right, and there's a passageway to the left. So door straight on, crab to the right, passageway to the left.
What's the crab made out of? Is it made out of red tiling or stone or slate?
It's a red carving, so some reddish stone, but highlighted in red tile as well, and glaze.
What did you get from this then, Abbas? Did you get any vibes from here?
You're muted.
Just a second. I'll give it a try. Let me have a second.
Does that involve touching it, or can you do that at range?
It does involve touching it. You can do things at range, but psychometry is probably the better way to go.
I'll go up and touch it.
Okay. What do you get on your vibe roll?
31. So made it, yeah.
Okay. You press your hand up against it, and as you get a sense of shadows and wind, but as you press your hand against it, the crab retracts slightly into the wall, and a door slides open, revealing a passageway beyond.
So we've now got 4 passageways.
Yep. So it's gone from a T-junction to a crossroads.
A hidden entrance seems promising.
Could lead to the coast, possibly.
Agreed. It's obviously being concealed for good purpose. We should perhaps investigate here first.
How big the height and the width of this corridor, which is just opened up?
It's the same size as the rest of the hallways.
Let's go through the passageway.
What, the new one which opened up, or one of the other ones?
The new one, the secret one.
Yeah, the one that just opened.
Okay.
Okay.
Looks cool.
The passageway.
I'll try and see if there's any way to sort of like make sure that it doesn't close behind the scrim, like put a pit on or something to.
Yeah,
wedge
you can wedge a pit on underneath the edge of the door, so that should at least slow it down. Right. Yeah. The corridor passes on for a short distance behind there, then hooks to the left and goes down widening stairs. A short flight of widening stone stairs leads down and fans out to meet a large natural cavern where a strange mist covers the ground to knee height. The air is chill and fresh here with the smell of salt water. As you enter, a short series of strange chirrups and squeaks echoes out of the gloom. Amid the mists, you fancy that you can see the near shore of an underground lake that extends out into the darkness.
Question. On our way here, would we have seen dolphins off the side of the boat and whatnot and heard any of their noises or utterances?
Yes. You
line up with our experience maybe during the voyage?
No, it's more foreboding than that.
Okay, so it's like the angry, drunken Homer Simpson version of a dolphin. Then,
yes.
Or a kraken or something. Okay.
Squid.
Calamari. God, my Italian's improving.
Well, I was thinking this might be like an escape route for priests or something. Or is that just a Christian thing? So if it leads down to a lake, there might be a boat or something.
I think we should throw some chum into the water and see what happens. Perhaps we can fish out a jerk.
I really don't.
Which one of us gets thrown in? Who's the shortest?
Yeah.
Oh, no, different sort of chum. Sorry.
I think I have some meat scraps in my backpack.
Probably as part of your rations. You've got some dry meat or something.
Okay, do we want to attract something that eats meat without any real intention of going into the lake? I mean, is there a boat? Can we see the other side? Is there a way out?
So yeah, you move down the steps close to the edge of the water. The steps continue to descend beneath the water, and the sort of blackness of this lake of salt water is out in front of you. There are salt crystals formed around the edge. It looks like the water wells up from somewhere, but then dries out periodically.
Tide. Maybe there's a further passageway revealed later through the shifting of the tides.
Out on this lake of salt water, you can make out the dimensions of an island, though the mist obscures it somewhat. It looks like a low, rocky island with some sort of altar or something on it.
If only we had a drum that summoned a boat.
Do we?
No.
Oh,
Technically.
Have we ever used that?
No.
By the way?
This would have been a deal.
See, whenever anyone mentions drums, I automatically think Mines of Moria.
Yeah.
I just
Right.
think
Other than that, Black Lakes, I've seen far too much hentai to think that this isn't going to end up in tentacles and screaming.
I have a
how
have a
does the
severed
water
hand.
feel when we way through it, Grim? Does it feel cold?
Yes, it's very cold.
Right.
I'm curious about the air and the atmosphere and so on. From any of our just regular senses, our understanding, I'm sure in our lifetimes we've been in cellars or below ground food storage areas or so on before. So there'd be a sense of air pressure, the way the sound is, the way moisture would naturally condense into fogs and so on. Does it seem like we're in an actual underground cavern, or are we in some kind of extra plane or elsewhere? Is there any sense like that?
It feels like a natural cavern, but there's an energy here, not exactly magic. The kind of experience you've had when you've encountered undead or ghosts that just kind of makes the hairs on your arm stand up. And
So there's an otherness here that
yeah,
just is
but you don't think
liminally-
you've passed into another world.
Okay, thank you.
Have we spent enough time around the sea to know whether we're at low or high tide at the moment?
Does anyone have sailing?
No.
No. No.
No,
Yeah.
probably not then.
Perhaps someone who isn't covered in metal could try to
Might,
swim across.
Might Garcias or his daughter know? She seemed to ken the way here through the island and whatnot. I wonder if she has any sense.
Garcias is keeping a fairly close hold on her.
Why don't we consult the skull?
Yes, thank you for reminding me about that.
No problem, brother. No problem, sister.
So this is Mistress Edes we'll be chatting with, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, I'll gently maybe kind of caress the skull like you'd be brushing a sleeping person's head and hair, like in a gentle way to wake them up. It can't hurt to show her a little bit of kindness, right?
Yes.
might be
What do you want now?
I'm so sorry for the intense language lessons we put you through earlier. They were very helpful. Kept us all breathing, which I'm sure we'd all like to do. Yes, yeah, people are nodding. Might you intuit or tell for us, because we can't, whether we are expecting the tide to come in or go out later today? Have you any sense of things down here?
Look at the water.
Yes, okay.
It's still, flat, like a mirror. Not even a drip. So I think if there is a link to the tides outside, we would hear something or see the ripples. This water must infiltrate in some other way. So I think you're fine.
Thank
How
you.
far
Do
is
you
the island from where we are, Grim? How far is the island from where we are?
Maybe 60 to 70 meters out across the lake.
I'll take off my armor.
Caesura does have an amulet of buoyancy.
Indeed, I do.
By the way, I love that you called it something that ended up with the initials Bob, because that's what you do.
Give me that and I'll swim across.
You won't be swimming, you'll be floating across the water, actually. So I'll give them the Nautilus badge, Grim.
Okay. Right, so you strip off your armor with the assistance of the others. And with this buoyancy amulet thing, it's hard to swim, actually, because you're skimming the surface like a pond skimmer. So you just you're able to dip your arms into the water enough to sort of scoot across the surface. So it doesn't take you very long at all to reach the island. Is it just you going? I guess there's only one amulet, so.
Unless anybody else wants to swim.
I would suggest maybe tying a rope around your ankle or something like that. Well, yeah. If something is attracted by the bait.
Yeah, you can be either you can be pulled back to the others, or they can catch whatever it is while it's chewing on you.
We're going to have to get a bigger boat.
Right. You've reached the island and ascend the low shore that it has. Salt crystals crunching underfoot. A chill scene confronts you as you step onto the island, and you sort of lift your body up above the mist. There's a desiccated skeletal body, rimed with salt crystals, slumped before a large, smooth lump of granite, marked with black stains. And atop the boulder lies a long, green-black dagger, long corrupted by verdigris. The body appears to be dressed in the remnants of old, rich blue robes that have been reduced to tatters, but retain their colour in the darkness and beneath the salt. The figure wears a number of pieces of bronze jewellery, engraved with images of horses and seashells. Beyond the dead figure, you spy a large number of sticks that jut out just above the grounded fog.
There doesn't seem to be anything dangerous here.
You've yelled that over about 300 feet.
Well, the cavern amplifies his voice.
All right.
Please be cautious nonetheless.
And it echoes off the walls.
I'll investigate the sticks.
As you near the sticks, you suddenly reach a horrendous realization. They're not sticks at all. They are in fact human bones. And you're walking among the remains of many bodies, just out of sight beneath the mist in most places. Some are adults, but worst. Still most are the leering grins of children and infants. Human sacrifices.
Ugh. Disgusting. I'll have a quick look around to see if there's anything of noteworthy.
Just the sort of ruined, well, not ruined exactly, but the old corrupted dagger on the surface of the slab, the bones, the remains of whatever priest or whatever that was with the brass and bronze jewellery that he was wearing. That seems to be about it.
I'll check his jewellery and see if any of it is particularly shiny, That's usually an indicator of it being magical.
No. All of it has been corrupted by the salt air and the corruption of time. Though some of the gemstones, they're only really semi-precious stones, are retrievable.
Not worthy. I'll check his pockets, though.
Well, the tattered remnants of whatever bag or pockets he had. No, there's nothing in those.
Shades of Gollum, eh? What has it got in its pockets?
Is there ceiling to this?
I'll leave you be. But I will take the dagger.
Okay, you reach out and take the dagger. What's your magical defense?
My magical defense is 8. I was waiting for this.
Okay, can you roll a D100, please?
Ooh. Hold on. 56.
56.
Well, that table is.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. As you touch it, you feel a rush of sorrow and anger, and you hear laughter, though nobody else hears it, that starts off natural and ends sort of hysterical and then fades away. At the very edge of your hearing, you imagine you can hear a constant whispering.
Who's there?
There is no reply, though the others kind of hear your echoing voice asking who's there.
We're still here. Are you okay?
I must be imagining something. I'll pocket the dagger.
Have
As
you
I said-
inhaled any spores or such? Like, are there any mushrooms or other fungi around you?
I'll pocket the dagger and swim back across.
Okay, so you skim back across the surface using the badge
Is there,
and get
is there
back
an
to the
actual
others.
ceiling to the room?
Sorry, pardon?
Is there like a ceiling or a crypt? Is there a roof to this like room?
It's a natural cavern, so just a craggy roof.
Okay.
There doesn't seem to be any other way to go other than back the way you came.
Can I have my boots back, please, Sally?
Yes, I'll hand it back.
I don't think we should leave here quite yet. Actually, maybe I'm jumping the gun. So, Sir Lane, what did you see there? Why did you have that reaction? It was quite unusual.
There was an altar for human sacrifice. It was ghastly.
Okay.
I pocketed this before I left, and I showed them the dagger.
Okay. Yeah, it's,
Why did you do that?
Seemed to be of value.
How does Brother Abbas react to the dagger? He has senses the rest of us do not, correct?
yeah, it's not inherently magical, but there's a faint lingering aura to it.
There's a faint lingering order, my friend, but doesn't feel overly magical.
Is it a good idea to let the empath open up to sacrificial dagger? Just saying.
What type of style is the dagger? What does it look like? Does it just look like a fancy dagger, an expensive dagger?
It's an old bronze dagger. It's halfway between a dagger and a sickle, intended for slitting throats, you think?
Well, a sacrificial dagger, basically, yeah.
I can't help but shake the feeling that if that indeed was a site used for human sacrifice and whatnot, there might be a lot below the water that we should perhaps not ignore. Except I'm not too keen on going down into there myself. I wonder.
So what you're saying is there could be possibly life below, deeper in the water.
I'm not sure. My sense is this place is of course magnificently crafted and engineered, but for this to be a ritual sacrifice site, obviously some priest or whomever was laid out on that bier. Yes, Sir Elaine.
Possibly. Indeed.
And we Grim, we're all aware of the fog and so on here. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So on the island, Sir Elaine, was it surrounded by water on the far side, or did it just was it all obscured into mist? You know, or did the cavern go back further, or before you were spooked? Because you said who's there, so something must have spooked you. Yes.
Yes, I heard something, a voice, but it passed.
Oh.
Okay, can I surreptitiously go over to the monk and ask him if there's any way to double check that Sir Elaine is still Sir Elaine? Yes, you know.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
I could just bear with me a second. What could I do? What could I do?
You could vibe him.
Are you Cyclops, Sultan? Is he an illusion?
It's not an illusion.
Damn.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I always look at everyone like that. I'm scared of everything.
Don't get paranoid, Sully. Don't get paranoid now.
In fact, can I use my human reading? Has he been moving the same since he's come back? I mean, the body language and stuff. If someone else was at the controls, they wouldn't move in the same fashion.
He seems to be the same person.
Okay,
I'll try and find him, but I'm not sure if that'll really do much. But give it a go. So, well, I failed on the vibe anyway.
Okay, he's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with him.
Wow.
Everything's fine.
That you already know about.
Bloody Guthanaggers. There's too many of them. They've got to go. They've got to go.
I'll return to nervously watching the water then.
Okay, well, it's still rippling from when he was swimming through it, but yeah.
I simply thought that something of such evil needed to be taken from this place, and maybe if it can be put to some good, if not, it can be destroyed.
If you want to smite it later, you can smite it later, but not down here.
So
I did not find it within me to disturb the grave.
Well, in a way, you did disturb the grave by taking the dagger, so...
Should we leave? Should we go? Or do you want to look under the water?
can you said there was steps leading down into the water?
Yeah.
And you also said it was calm, so there'd be no sign of a tide that was previously high, like green growing above the surface.
There's the salt. So the level of the water has been lower and it's been higher. It's certainly been higher than it is right now. But yeah,
probably,
whatever it is, you don't think it's tidal.
So it could be seepage since the earthquake.
Yeah.
Well, the island might not always have been an island. It could have been got steps leading down to the bottom of not a valley, but an actual floor.
To the floor of the cavern, or there's lots of possibilities.
Okay, now we're going to science, which doesn't work with magic. Night vision, as per a potion, will that work in dark water? We've got the whole thing of will the water knacker the normal vision effect? And
yeah, Well, because there's two reasons it gets dark underwater. Part of it's because more and more light is filtered out, but then you also have to worry about whatever's in suspension in the water. So night vision wouldn't help against fog or mist or detritus in the water, but would help against the actual darkness part. So,
But either way, I haven't got a foolproof reason to go diving into that ship by myself.
no, and it is very cold. So,
Huzzah! Well, I would, but I don't think it'll do any good, you know.
Well, there's only one thing. There's only one way I can find out there's anything down there. If you want you guys to do it,
So I flashbang in and see what floats to the top.
exactly.
Dynamite. Really? You're thinking that?
Dead charge.
Get a straw and drink all the water.
No, I've got a blowpipe for that, Grim. I've got a blowpipe.
Are you going to toss a flashbang into it?
I'm looking at the others. Is everyone up for it? Elaine?
Do what you want.
Okay, everyone start getting ready. Are we going to just like face what's going to come up?
Powerful enough to bring the roof down or anything, are they?
No.
Right. If everyone's up for it, I'll do it. If not, say your piece now. 3, 2,
Yeah, go for it.
1. Fly in the hole. Click. Shot.
Okay, you fling it into the water. It sinks for a short distance. The water's sort of infiltrating the chemicals that make the thing work. When it does go off, it's not with as big of a flash and a bang as normal. Yeah. But in this sort of after image that's left on your eyes, after the flash beneath the water, you think there's a few broken columns down in the water, but nothing else.
So, yeah, it hasn't always been an island. There was stuff down there.
Huh. And this one flash. Right. We'll have to start making portable death charges.
Here we go. Let's go.
Okay, so back up the steps. So the two ways you haven't been from where you are now is through a door to the right, deeper into the southwest of the dungeon, or a long, thin corridor that stretches ahead of you.
The long, thin corridor. Everyone good with that?
Okay. Right. It goes on ahead for quite some distance before terminating in a grey stone door.
Do we close the door behind us leading to the cavern? Does it close or?
It's got a pin wedged in it, so it can't close. So it's up to you if you want to remove that and close it.
So if there is anything down there, we did make some noise. Well, if we don't, I'll bring up the rear.
Okay. No, people seem intent on moving on. So yes, you arrive at this plain grey stone door with another serpentine handle.
I suppose do your cursory check for traps and let's get it open.
Okay. So if Cesora wants to make a trap check and Abbas wants to make a vibe check.
Will do.
I got 6.
I got 46. I failed the 5 check.
Okay. And did Cesora check on his trap check?
I got 6.
Okay. You're not sensing any traps, and Abbas is not sensing anything.
Then I'll open the door.
Right. As you open it up and the lamplight infiltrates the room, you see a large chamber of glistening white marble where every surface is covered with a light film of dust that sparkles in the dim light. In the centre of the room, you see an enormous marble statue of a naked, muscular humanoid carrying a shepherd's crook. He has a single great eye in the centre of his forehead. At the statue's feet are 3 bronze figurines of large rams, with eyes formed from large glimmering opals. 2 dark doorways lead out of this room, but you can also make out a large crack in the southern wall, which it looks like you could probably squeeze through.
Does this statue look like a Cyclops bench?
Yes, it's a big statue of a Cyclops.
And what's it made out of?
Marble.
Right. Do the eyes of the rams look valuable, or is it just polished glass or polished stone?
Roll under your perception.
9. Did it by 5.
Opals of that size, they're probably worth about 100 florins each, and each ram has 2 of them. So
it'll be 6.
600 florins or so.
Right.
If you
And the
price them out of the rams.
The Cyclops eye, is that like worth anything?
No, that just seems to be carved into the granite.
Right.
Is it on a pedestal or is it freestanding? Because always with the statues.
Yes, it's on a pedestal with a plaque on it.
That's much more. Can we read it?
Does anyone speak ancient Ophidian?
Not ancient. I've only got basic. I probably only recognise it as Ophidian.
Yeah, you can make out a couple of words. Son, shepherd, and lord.
I'll say those if that means anything to anyone else.
Maybe our skull friend can translate. See if she knows anything.
Yeah. So,
She's quite knowledgeable.
Well,
do we have to take turns fondling Mistress Eda, or is that...
It's up to Caradon, really, as the guardian of the skull.
Yes, we can rouse her once again. Dear mistress, we still need your assistance. I'm so sorry to trouble you again.
What is it this time?
Well, perhaps in the coming months you will be able to teach me ancient Ophidian, but until then we must rely upon your talent.
Very well. Show me the writing.
I will scan the skull-ended bit of the staff over the writing.
It says, "Cease bothering the ancient skull, for she is very old and tired."
She likes some very pretty opal eyes. Okay, you know.
Well, it would be nice to look pretty. No, it says, "Polthus, beloved son and shepherd of our Lord, blinded by the accursed one."
Does anyone know who this cursed one is?
If it's the same as ours, there was... I don't think it was Jason and the Argonauts. But there... Oh, hell no. I think I might be thinking of Sinbad. Something to do with there was a Cyclops. There was a rock on the island, the big bird.
The Argonaut.
I think it may have been Jason the Argonauts, actually. Yeah, they hid from the Cyclops by clinging to the underside of the sheep, which would make sense of the rams being there.
And also, there's harpies as well in Jason and the Argonauts, if I remember correctly as well.
Yeah, I'm probably getting a lot of them mixed up. I read a lot of stuff when I was a kid.
Me free.
So the cursed one would be Jason, or one of the other heroes.
So yeah, you can get the eyes or do whatever else you want to do in here. You can squeeze through the crack in the wall, or you can take the right-hand exit deeper into the temple complex.
Does the crack look like it was formed by the prior earthquakes, or just sort of left as an afterthought once the chamber was created? Are there any fallen rocks or dust from that would have been left behind?
It's been formed by one of the earthquakes. So yeah, it's cracked through the wall and sort of ascends up into the darkness through the rock.
Good luck. That might give us a way out if any of the doors are locked behind us.
How tall's this Cyclops, Grim?
About 12 to 15 feet tall, you think?
Have you got a club or a mace or anything?
A crook, shepherd's crook.
Right. So he's got
Shall
reach
I
if he
perhaps
comes to life.
examine it and read its aura? Do you think
Yeah,
that might be a
Yeah, go for it.
useful attempt?
Yep.
Okay, I will ask everyone to stand back and begin incanting the proper ritual words to invoke the magic, and I will note down my magic point use.
At a small meta point, isn't sea enchantment the thing the mystic has got on his permanent?
Yes, so you can see if something's magical but can't get any real details on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the statue, it gives off a vague magical sense. The sheep also give off a vague magical sense. Under aura vision, the divine magic that seems to empower this statue is currently dormant, but it's linked to the sheep.
There's definitely a link between the two carving, the Cyclops and the sheep, and there's a godly or divine form of magic linking the two.
So no pinching the opals then without considerable risk. That's a shame. I like opals.
Whatever wasn't worthwhile that didn't have a little bit of risk.
But it would be a bit of a shame to deface such a beautiful piece of art, wouldn't it?
You can't take it with us.
Do you want cursed daggers? Because that's how you get cursed daggers.
I used the cursed dagger to retrieve the opals.
No, yours if you want.
You just want to rack them up, don't you?
Okay, is Sir Alain going to do that?
Sure.
You've talked yourself into it.
I'm
Okay.
putting my guard up then. I'm putting my guard up.
Okay, right. So Elaine strolls over to the statues of the rams and takes out the cursed dagger and prizes one of the opals out of the eye. As you do so, the stone Cyclops springs to life, showering dust, and the only noise is from its movement as it steps down off its plinth, and some of the tiles on the floor crack. But it gives no voice. It's just the sound of its rumbling movement. Right. So. Yeah. One sec. Right. It doesn't get surprised because you all kind of expected that. But it does have higher initiative. All right. It swings down with its crook to try and smash Sir Alain. What's Sir Alain's defense?
18.
Right, so you prise this opal free and catch it in your hand, and the thing moves, and you sort of lean back to look up at it and see this enormous stone crook coming down at you. And as it's in mid-swing, all of the straps on your armor unbuckle themselves, and the whole thing falls away from your body as the crook smashes into you.
Kinky.
Well then. Interesting.
So yeah, you got no armor. So that's...
It's a group of disobedient.
That would be the best weapon ever.
It would be.
Right.
Just pop someone and lose all
Do
that.
you want to make a shield save? Oh, actually,
Yes,
shield isn't
please.
going to be ready, is it? You're prizing the opal.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that not
Take
really
8 wounds of damage.
Oof.
It's a good thing it
Okay.
was a crook rather than a club or anything heftier, otherwise, yeah, that would have been bad. But you are smashed down to the floor by this massive stone crook, and it lifts it back up again, ready to strike again down at you. Caesura.
Right. Is this at the other side of the room, or do I have to go charging up to it?
It was in the center of the room, so you're all within pretty easy range of it if you want to attack it.
I'll try and parry it off so Sir Lane can get his bearings and get ready to fight next turn.
Okay.
So I'm going to try and parry it off with my magic sword.
Okay. It's all part of the same statue, so make an attack roll at -5.
4.
Okay. Roll to penetrate armor.
9 plus
Okay.
3, that's 12.
To penetrate armor.
D10 plus 3, so yeah,
Okay.
12.
Yeah. That's your. Is that your Valandar sword or the?
No, Vaha sword
Oh, okay.
plus 3. It's my
Right.
illusionary sword, Cyclops.
So you're not dual wielding at the moment. Okay. And roll damage.
10 plus 3, so that's 13.
13. Okay. Right. Yeah, you sort of step forward, smash your sword into the crook, and help sort of lift it away from Elaine. A few cracks, chips appear in the crook where you smashed into it. Right, Elaine's go.
I'll draw my sword and shield.
Okay.
Charge.
You hear the cacophonous laughter from the dagger, but when you drop it, it instantly stops. And then you draw your sword and shield. So that's prepared to fight next turn. You can't really attack it this turn. Right, Kerridan.
I am still considering whether or not I can expend the magical energy to engage in combat with such a creature when we have everyone else around us. So I am going to step back a bit so that I'm out of reach of a swing of the crook.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to try and observe the sheep to make sure it doesn't launch a sneak attack or something like that. Other sections are, as silly as it sounds, it would be an ideal 1-2 combination.
The
And I'm
most
just going to
dangerous of
observe
creatures,
it.
a clever sheep.
like that killer rabbit from Monty Python, right? But I'll try to. If I don't know if this is possible in the game mechanics or not, but I'll try to observe the automaton to see if it has a weak point or some vulnerability that I might be able to exploit or target.
It doesn't seem to, and you think because it's a thing that's in the image of a Cyclops, it doesn't actually have any of the weaknesses that a Cyclops might, like monocular vision.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't threaten British sheep.
Semprino fires an arrow at the thing's face. It just goes pink off its armor. Almiro sets the banner, so you get the bonus effects from that now, which I can't remember what they were at the moment, but I'm sure one of you.
I'll
will
look them
figure
up.
So Abbas's turn.
I will try and hit it with my sword.
Okay, so you move in quickly to the attack. Roll to hit, -5.
Oh, yeah, I got a 1.
Oh, nice. Crit. Okay,
Crit.
so straight through the armor and roll damage twice.
I believe the banner functioned as warding with
Yeah.
+2 against all incoming attacks.
Okay. How much damage did you
Nice.
get?
14 points of damage
14
overall.
points of damage. Nice. Okay, so you move around behind it. Part of the statue that you guys hadn't really seen up until this point at the back looks like it was damaged in the same earthquake. So you managed to ram your sword into the gap and use it as a sort of lever to crack off sections of the stone. It stumbles slightly. Madrock.
I'm going to tumble forward, grab up the discarded eye,
Yeah.
and slam it back into the eye hole of the sheep it came for.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
probably too late for that to work, but
Worth a try. Yeah. You
Alright.
spring
It's a
forward
good idea.
through the melee.
I've got jumping and breakfall
Yeah.
as skills, so
Yeah, you do a tumble and a roll, snatch up the gem from beside Elaine and ram it back into the ram. But the statue doesn't seem to halt in its assault at all.
okay. Oh, well.
Garthias sort of herds his daughter back out the entrance, figuring that the Cyclops is too big to get through there. Or at least hoping so. Right, new turn. The Cyclops brings its stone fist around to try and smack Elaine this time. And strikes him a blow, but you've got your shield now, so can you make a shield save, please?
Can. Where would my dice go? It is a D8 this time.
Yeah, and you need a 1 or a 2, I think.
One, two, and I got a 1.
Okay, you desperately fling your shield in the way of the blow. The fist smashes into it. There's a sound like a bell ringing, and you're knocked skidding back a bit on the ground. Your arm's a bit numb, but apart from that, you're all right. Right, Caesaurus go.
Okay, let's rock and roll. I'm going to go for one of its legs. Too bigger for me to attack its chest or its head or its arm. So basically, I will go for the most visible leg for me.
Okay. Make your attack roll at -5.
6. Did it by 14.
Okay, roll
Is
to,
my
roll to bypass armor.
7 plus 3, that's 10.
Okay, and roll damage.
Nine.
Okay. You move forward and swing your sword at its shin. It chips the stone, and a few sort of cracks spider web across the stone. But your sword sort of rebounds off and leaves your hand feeling a bit numb from the vibration. But it is starting to crumble. More and more stone is flaking away from it. Elaine.
With the hands reverberating from my shield, I'll try to ram my sword through one of the cracks.
Okay, go for it.
Split into the stone.
Take 5 away from your attack and roll.
I think I may have missed. Hold on. No, I hit. I have a really high attack.
Right, roll to penetrate armor.
Okay. 9.
Okay, and roll damage.
8.
Right. You strike a mighty blow at its wrist, where the stone's starting to chip and fall away. And more cracks are opening up all over its body. Every time it moves, the stone grinds on stone and dust falls out through the joints. 1 or 2 more good, strong blows should probably shatter it, if your previous experience fighting statues is anything to go by. Right, Kerridan's turn.
We do fight a lot of statues.
You do fight a lot of statues.
I am just going to stay back and keep my eyes alert. I'm not going to. I'm shepherding, pun intended, my resources. So I will step back and allow our brave warriors to handle this threat, so that I have strength for threats they're less suited to handle.
Okay. Semprino fires another arrow, this time aiming for the cracks that are kind of running up it from its lower body now. He penetrates its armor. Right. The arrow sort of wedges into one of the cracks that's spidering its way up his chest, and it widens the gap a bit more, and as it sort of twists and turns its torso, that crack starts to open up. The sort of outer shell of stone is falling away and revealing the corroded bronze skeleton beneath. Almiro maintains the standard. Sorry, I got the order wrong last turn. It should be Madrock next. So, Madrock.
So I'm going to try and hamstring it.
Okay.
So the short sword of Valandar.
Yeah.
So,
roll to hit at -5.
with the bonus from the sword, bang on.
Nice. Okay. Roll to penetrate its armor.
D8 plus 2. Maximum 10. That's
Okay.
got it through.
And damage.
That's D8 plus 2 again, isn't it? Yep. Yeah, 5.
Okay, it's enough. Right. As the stone continues to shatter and fall off its body, you come around behind it and strike your sword through the back of both of its heels. The magical blade, being made of magical steel rather than brass or bronze, cleaves through the older, weaker metal that's lain there for God knows how many years and cuts through it easily. The whole statue topples backwards and shatters into pieces as it strikes the wall.
Nice.
Right.
Won't begin.
And then you can get the opals with no further trouble, and Elaine can put his armor back on.
It's kind of a sad and ignoble end to such a beautiful creation, is it not?
It was a walking death trap. It's good that we've put it to rest.
Yeah.
Let's face it, it had a rocky start to life.
So did all of us hear the dagger laugh as...
No, only Elaine.
John?
Yeah, I was just about to say that, like, I'll walk back over to the dagger and, I was gonna, like, pick it up, but with, something, like a scrap of, like, cloth or leather or something.
Would
Yeah.
you like to borrow my magical gauntlet?
I thought you had that.
Yeah, I still
Oh,
have.
that's
I'd like to borrow that.
such a good item.
It's like the best item I've ever had.
It lets you indulge your poking without necessarily exposing yourself to damage, because adventurers do love to poke things.
I'm glad you finished that sentence happily.
But with it held again, I'll say, it appears to be some sort of possessed blade.
What a shot.
No sinner Sherlock.
Yeah, as you're holding it in the magical gauntlet, the faint magic that clings to the dagger seems to be sort of reacting against it with the occasional spark.
Oh, it's having a clash of personalities. Clash.
Yeah. But if the dagger wins, that gauntlet's shot.
What if the gauntlet wins?
What do you want to do? Cast it aside? Crush it?
Let's destroy it.
If the dagger's so-called cleansed, Grim, is it worth anything?
No.
So it's basically just a dagger.
Yeah, it's not been enchanted so much as it's absorbed all the negative energy of the evil deeds that it's done and whoever was wielding it.
Yeah, I put it on a large chunk of stone, and swing my sword down on top of it.
Okay. The mystic steel of Valandar's sword strikes the dagger and shatters it asunder into pieces. There's a foul wind for a moment, but it soon passes.
Sorry.
And the dagger no longer has any sense of foreboding about it. It's just shattered pieces.
At least those who have been slain can finally lay at rest.
Yeah.
So, do you want to go back the way you came and take the double doors off the crossroads? Or do you want to go through the earthquake crack? Or do you want to take the right-hand door from this room?
I'll check the right-hand door for traps.
Okay. Make a trap sense roll.
5.
You vibing as well?
I will do, yes.
You sense
Yeah,
no
got it.
you sense no traps, and it doesn't appear to feel dangerous at all.
Before we continue, Caradin, are you able to tend to my wounds?
Absolutely. I will, as soon as we have a moment to gather around, let me just have a look here. We used that scroll last time, I believe.
You had
Scroll of Gator healing, Gator healing. Oh my heavens, greater healing. But that might be overreaching. Yes, I will.
That would be 7 wounds back, and he took 8. So
Took 8.
The scroll is marked for 10 wounds, so I think I should just use traditional spell. It's a rank 3 spell, so I'll take a few moments and utter the appropriate incantations and make the appropriate gestures over his wound.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Alright.
involve going, don't do it again.
Poke it. Right, spend the magic points, and the majority of the wound heals up, just leaving some bruising.
Chicks dig scars.
Right, and then on through this corridor, was it, that you just checked?
Yes.
I'm assuming so. Okay.
Is the crack on the far side of the other wall, or is it on the same wall?
So if it's a square room and you sort of came in facing straight forward,
Yeah.
so there's nothing on the left-hand wall. On the wall on the far side, there were the statues, and that's where the crack is, in the back of that corner. And then there was a door to the right. But, so you open that door. Beyond the doorway extends a corridor lined with walls of grey and black granite. You can see another doorway, identical to the one you just entered, at the far end of the corridor. This corridor is much more narrow, and you can only pass through it single file. So who's going to take the lead?
How are we fixed illumination-wise?
Your steadfast hirelings are the ones carrying the lanterns.
Ah, good.
So you've got two lanterns.
Semprino has a lantern, and I imagine Elmiro does as well, and one or the other have to be standard ready to plunk down.
Yeah.
Has anyone here played a combat game for platforms called For Honor? There's a move in that game you can plunk down a standard and you get a buff to the immediate area. Puts me in mind of that.
Yes, I played one. Yeah, good game.
Okay, who's going to take the lead then?
Brave Sir Elaine. He's muted, however. Jack, you're muted still. I saw your mouth.
I guess I will, sorry.
Trying not to volunteer through sudden silence. Okay. You can't check for traps or vibes, but you can open the door. The door swings open into a wider, longer corridor constructed from grey granite. Upon the walls are painted strange, primitive figures in black. They depict men, horses, and giants. And at the far end, there is another grey door of the same design.
Okay, that doesn't seem to be venerating the Poseidus, does it?
No.
That's the horses look familiar. There was some on the island when we arrived.
Yeah, because of the idea of the crashing waves being horses, they're quite often found around depictions of Poseidon, but the giants and so on are a little bit out of place.
Is it the same style of artwork, or is this something that's been put on by someone else?
No, it seems to be an older, more primitive, less polished and finished style.
Ooh. This might have been here when the original settlers got it. I guess.
Possibly, if there was a settlement on the island of any kind.
If it's not Poseidus related,
Yeah.
could be whatever the original inhabitants, if any, had. Ooh.
Right, so assuming you're carrying on, the next door, do we want to check it again?
Yep.
Okay, trap sense and vibe sense, because there's enough room for people to get in then.
8.
Failed the vibe.
Okay. No, you don't sense anything dangerous about the next room. Okay, passing through.
Let's proceed.
You emerge into a large granite room and see on the southeastern wall a huge granite statue, perhaps 18 feet tall, of a rough-featured and heavy-set naked man. Fond of their naked men, these amphibian sculptors.
Bloody dukes.
A door is set in the opposite wall that you entered through, and of the same grey stone, and a bronze door is set in the right. There's a plaque under the statue again.
How much to bet that this statue comes alive as well?
I bet you, Shirley, and I bet you not.
I'll read the plaque.
Do you speak ancient Amphibian?
I do not.
Okay, you don't know what it says.
Does anyone know how to read this?
Couple of
I
words.
shall offer the staff to Sir Elaine and say, you may do the honors this time.
What staff?
The one with Mistress Edis's skull on the end of it, and she can read ancient Amphibian.
Oh, okay.
Yes. You wake her up,
read
she,
this?
she grumbles for a bit. It says, Antaeus, son of our lord, slain by the Thunderer's bastard.
Dear son of our lord, slain by the...
Well, Sandra of
Thunder.
As soon as,
Hercules
as soon as I
is unusual.
as soon as I hear the thunder word, my guardian opera.
Okay. Yeah, whatever their Zeus equivalent is, probably put it about as much as the ancient Greek Zeus, so that doesn't exactly narrow it down.
When you say thunder, I was thinking Thor.
And it had all of Greek mythology. Zeus going, I'm going to stick my dick in it. Everyone going, don't stick your dick in it. And Zeus going, too late. That was it.
Does my magical aura detect anything relevant to the statue?
No, there doesn't seem to be any aura or latent magic connected to the statue or in the statue itself. You think, just as a cigar is sometimes just a cigar, the statue is just a statue.
I hand Caesura what's it few crowns.
Did you make a bet?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
you can keep them. You can buy me a pint of meat later.
So, do you want to take the grey door straight ahead of you, or the brass door to the right?
I haven't seen a brass door in here before.
I'll check the door, Grim.
Okay, make a trap check roll.
9.
What do you mean? What do you mean no?
9 in fear. 9 in fear.
Nein, Kartoffelkopf.
No.
It's not trapped, but it is jammed shut. The earthquake seems to have twisted the frame.
So we're going to have to lift it up in order to open up the door.
Yeah, or apply more muscle to it than you have by yourself.
Okay. Well, the door's not charged, but I might need some hand to lift up the frame to get the door open. Don't all jump at once.
Well, I'm not very strong, but
Door
I'll
that I cannot access only makes me want to get inside more.
I know that Old Schools is not here, but Becca is with us. Can we rely upon her to help with the door?
No, that's cheating.
Yeah, the
Okay.
characters kind of disappear. They're not here.
Okay. She's indisposed with a tummy ache or some, the last night's supper is still offsetting. She's green in the gills.
She's running for some hippogriff.
I don't know if I have anything that
I may be able
can
to help. Let
us.
me think on the matter for a moment.
It's
I
just
can
needing
push
strength.
it.
It's needing strength. That's all it's needing. It's needing a slight appliance to lift it up while we
Okay.
open up the door.
So,
I can
what's Elaine's strength?
My strength is 12.
And what's Caesora's strength?
10.
It's not quite budging with the two of you shoving at it. You need a bit more help.
I can throw in 10.
Come on, everyone! Just push
you've,
on.
right.
established that the swords or weapons of Valandar are unbreakable, yeah?
Yeah.
So if I use that as my short sword as a crowbar,
Yeah. And you get as many people as can fit, muscling up to the door, and finally it bursts open. And you sort of fall up some stairs as you all fall through in a tangle. You're able to collect yourselves. And it's a short staircase. Okay. So beyond the door... sorry, the steps go down, but it's a shallow angle. Beyond the door, there's a set of dark stone stairs descending into a darkness that's filled with cobwebs and dust. After about 15 meters of stairs, they end in a long chamber. A bed, stools, and a basin are arrayed around the room, along with a number of perished wooden caskets. On the far wall of the chamber can be seen an elaborate frieze which depicts a beautiful woman and several children, alongside an unknown central figure which has been crudely defaced. However, your attention is drawn to a strange, writhing shape that lies in the centre of the room, which appears to be covered with a large, heavy tapestry. The chamber is already lit, even before your lanterns enter, by a bright blue flame that dances in the air directly above the writhing shape and causes wriggling shadows to play against the walls.
Everyone stand back. To me. Back away. Stand back. I have to explain something.
Yes, go on.
When we first entered the ruins, do you remember when I dislodged that stone from my boot?
No.
Doesn't matter.
Yes.
I knelt down by the altar and I opened myself to it and I read it, and I was struck with a vision of incredible sadness and despair, and I could see and remember a man, I would presume a patriarch, just like in the old religious stories, sacrificing again and again and again, trying to propitiate the gods for
Yes.
whatever he sought favor and whatnot. I suspect perhaps that the corpse you saw back there may have either been him or I know not, but it has to be connected to what we see here. I suspect it may be one of the restless dead again, or one of its spawn. Beware.
You've got fire bombs, right?
I didn't catch all of that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You've got fire bombs.
Indeed, but that would be perhaps too dangerous to use in an enclosed space like a dungeon and whatnot. So I'd be very careful. Garcias, what do you know of this?
Nothing. This whole complex is full of strange wonders.
So to go back to the visuals there, Jim, you said there was some kind of a covering, like a burial shroud or something.
Yeah,
and
like a tapestry over the wiggling shape, and the blue flame makes that sort of wriggling shape, send weird shadows scattering everywhere.
Is it like perhaps the undulating of undersea weeds and reeds and things like that?
Somewhat, but it seems unnatural, like the writhing is moving too fast for a human form and then slowing down and then moving too fast again.
Could I try to kind of unfocus my eyes, look not directly at it, just off to the side, like you would want to sight stars that you can only sense with your peripheral vision?
Mm-hmm.
And could I perhaps kind of look away and allow maybe that to see if I can perceive any patterns or shapes or other information that might reveal itself that way?
You think whatever it is underneath the tapestry is humanoid in shape, at least.
Does anyone have a hook or something like that? Perhaps we could cast a rope over there and hook it away while we're all prepared, maybe to smite whatever foulness is beneath.
We'll have a grappling hook.
That would hook the tapestry easily enough.
I'll do that then.
Okay. You grab your hook, swing it round on a short bit of rope, and fling it across the room. It lands on top, and you start to pull on the hook to pull at the tapestry. And as you do, you become aware of an acrid smell of ammonia. Before you can pull the tapestry completely off, the wriggling shape unfolds itself from beneath, revealing a tall, dark-haired man with a closely shaved head atop a long, lean body. He's dressed in a stained white robe, but keeps hold of the tapestry, pulling it against your grip and holding it around him as if it were a cloak. He stands motionless and stares directly at you.
A moment. He's peed himself.
Just as a side note, in the real world, ammonia in sea creatures and so on is a thing. When I was in Korea, they eat a particular dish. I think it's pickled kite fish, and it's got a very, very heavy ammonia scent to it. It's considered kind of a manly thing to eat it while you're drinking. That, and along with shark eyeballs in certain sushi shops and so on.
At least it's not lutefisk.
Surströmming, you must be kidding.
Okay, well, he doesn't look dead or monstrous, apart from sort of shades of homelessness. Apologies for waking you. I'll try that in my very basic Amphibian.
Okay, he answers you in Amphibian. It's a bit difficult to follow along. You haven't had a lot of practice with it. But you think he said hello back to you and introduced himself as Big Priest, Top Priest, Chief Priest, Head Priest, something like that. Acarades.
Acarades. Okay, we are definitely going to need the lady in the skull for this, because he's called Acarades, and I think he's a priest, or at least he was.
Okay.
In back aisle, I will prompt him and ask, Acolades, again in back aisle, speakest thou, how did I call it? Back
back
Bacchial
aisle.
in Latin.
speakest thou back aisle?
Okay, he speaks to you in back aisle. What's your rating on that? Is it moderate or?
I've got intermediate in Bacchial.
Okay, so yeah.
Intermediate, yes.
Fluent enough. Yes, I am Acorades, High Priest of this temple. I have been preserved by the power of Poseidos, and he points to the blue flame that is now flickering above his head.
When he says preserved, does he mean cursed? I'm trying to read his.
Okay, make a roll to read him.
7, so that's under any stat that I've got.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how that human perception thing works. I think I did put it on your sheet.
I think it's I get +1 to my perception when trying to read. Oh crap! So my
Sorry
perception.
about that. I just lost my internet for a split second there. What was that? What did I miss, Grim?
No, yeah.
So the thing under the tapestry claims to be the High Priest Acorades.
And I've made it by 5.
Okay. You don't trust this thing if it is a high priest. If it is, it's been down here a long time and should be utterly insane. Maybe he is. But you don't think he's telling you the truth.
Fair enough. I'm in Elslandic. I will briefly pass that on. So, you're a priest of Poseidos?
Yes.
That's interesting. Just the
Acorades. I apologize. Continue.
Oh, no.
Acorades. For what purpose did you undergo this preservation? Know you what age this is?
I do not know, fair maid, how long I have been entrapped beneath the ruins of the temple. Poseidos sought to wreak havoc upon this land, but he preserved me for my loyalty and my faith. Though I confess it has more oft felt like a punishment.
I will try to catch Sir Elaine's eye and kind of like, DeForest Kelly, who played McCoy in the original Star Trek. Yeah, just with the eye up. Preserved, you say, but it felt like a curse. Such a sad fate. Had you a wife or children or any descendants that might yet live?
Descendants, perhaps, if any survived the wrath of the god.
A side note, Jim, does he have any features or appearance or any throwback to the vision I saw of the man committing those fevered propitiations at that altar when we first entered the complex?
In a vague sense, you never got a particularly clear vision of it.
Okay.
But it gives off many of the same vibes. But stronger, if anything. But then his attitude and his behaviour does not seem to carry the sorrow that you sensed.
In our troop of adventurers, does everyone speak some Elislandic?
Yes.
Sir Elaine, does Sir Elaine have any Elislandic that I would know of?
You all speak Elislandic, I think.
Everyone speaks
And
Icelandic.
is that would that have been known in any way, shape, or form to the ancient folks of this land, or is it too far away?
So
Too
that's
far
fine.
away for them.
Icelandic
Okay.
is just like common.
Okay. Oh, it is. Oh, I
It's,
didn't.
it's English, essentially. So.
Basically.
Okay. I will say to Acrimedes was his name. Good sir,
Acorades.
one moment, as I share that tidbit with my friends who speak not this tongue, and I'll switch to Elislandic and say, I don't think he's being forthright, and I'll smile and I'll nod to him as if I'm explaining, this, that, and the other. I think we should be wary. I suspect he may somehow be associated, and I'll just kind of gesticulate around. He may be associated with that altar and the former story I told you of sacrifice and sorrow. I leave it to you, Sir Elaine. And I will then do a slight courtesy and say and go back into. I have a bad memory for names here. Into back aisle. Forgive me for my rudeness. I meant no disrespect. And I will step back clearly with my body language indicating that my role in the conversation is over.
You found a way here into my prison, I suppose you could call it. I take it there is a way out? I can see the sun again?
I'll try to catch... I can't see all of the name here for the gentleman. Abso.
Oh, absolutely. That'll be me. Or Madrock, yeah.
Madrock is the character's name. I'll try and catch Madrock's eye because he speaks back aisle as well, and I'll just again indicate maybe with a gesture to him that it's up to him to maybe translate that.
Well, surely in Backel, if you was kept here, would seeing the sun possibly break the conditions of your containment?
I do not think so. I believe Poseidos must have sent you here to free me.
Well, we did come by sea, so it didn't stop us.
That is as good as a blessing from such a tempestuous god.
I will pipe up. Pardon me. Allow me to translate for my peers who speak not, and I'll gently translate into Ellislandic what I've heard.
While she's doing that, can I get a slightly better look at this face that was scratched out or whatever?
Yeah. Let me just have a look. Yes. Okay. Can you roll a d20 under your intelligence?
I'll have to look that up. I rolled a 14. Bang on.
Okay, you stare at this frieze and pick out the figures. From everything else that you've seen down here, you're fairly sure that figure is one of the aspects of Poseidos. He just doesn't have his trident with him, which threw you off a bit. But he seems to be portrayed in a more sort of benevolent mode here, providing the fruits of the sea to the beautiful woman and the children in the figure. But he's been defaced.
Yeah.
Someone has smashed something over and over again into the face of the figure.
Well, he's been stuck in. He would have got pissed off with him at some point.
It's only natural.
Would be my I will actually mention this openly. So I assume
In what tongue? In Icelandic or in?
it will be in Backel, so that is it only you that speaks it apart from me?
I speak it as well.
Yeah, I think that's good. So I assume anger took you at some point during your incarceration.
To my eternal shame.
It's one of the more understandable reactions.
Not to the gods.
Well, I'm not entirely sure they're immune to becoming senile, so there's only so much you can do about that.
High priest who would deface his own god, pagan as he may be. It seems unnatural to me.
Well, when he reaches the sea, I'm sure some sort of verdict will be rendered. Has he served his time, or is he beneath Poseidon's notice?
Might we strike out for the surface? Provided you're not some hallucination sent to torment me.
How does Garcias react to this and his daughter? Do they seem to follow the discussion in either in Bacal, or since he's here to recover great artifacts of power and whatnot, he might have a sudden jealous reaction, or perhaps he's too cagey for that.
He's extremely cagey and even cowardly, so he's kept well back from all this. As you look back, as you look back at him, you see that his daughter's trying to pull away from him forward to where the rest of you are, and he keeps sort of yanking her back and trying to keep her behind
I will
him.
stride towards her with purpose, and I'll say in her, but speak now, quickly if you must. Tell me what you have to say. I will ignore him entirely and focus my attention on her.
You can barely see her underneath the hood in the lamplight. She opens her mouth as if to speak, and then sort of turns and looks at Garcias, and then just hangs her head and closes her mouth again.
I'll look at Garcias and say in it. Well, I won't have to tell you what I say. I'll look at Garcias saying, we will all die here unless you back off and allow her to speak. Now move out of my way, or I will kill you where you stand myself.
She's my daughter. I must protect her.
Back off! And I will just push my way into him and put. If he's a cowardly cretin like that, he'll be so shocked or discombobulated. And I'll put my hands on her shoulders and say, "Speak to me now."
He lets go of her and stumbles back as you shove, sort of windmilling his arms to try and get his balance. She leans in and whispers in a very croaky, husky, dry-sounding voice, "He's wrong."
The High Priest, he's wrong.
Wrong.
On every level.
Yes.
Wrong. Is she human? Do I sense any her? Is she like a half human, half sea creature on dry land? She sounds like she's parched, I presume. This is my own wild imagination going here.
Well, you'd need to get a proper look at her. This close, you can't see that well, but yeah, she sounds parched, like she hasn't drunk anything in ages. But every time you've stopped for a sip from your canteens or whatever, she's drunk quite a lot.
I will hand her my water skin and say, "Take what you need." And I'll say in Icelandic, I'll smile, "Good sir," and then in Icelandic, "My friends, to arms."
Done.
Right. Okay. So yeah, you kind of get the drop on him. So you want to attack him?
I'm going to follow everyone else's lead and observe, so I can hit him when he's perhaps distracted or otherwise
Okay. Well,
engaged.
Silzora's the fastest to react. So what? Draw your weapons.
Cyclops.
Yeah.
My two-handed sword.
You probably already had that out though, didn't you? So do you want to just attack him?
Yep.
Okay. Take 3 away from your attack and roll.
Oh, you fucking bastard! He's gonna fucking hate me. 1.
Okay. Roll damage twice.
Oh, any bypass to armor, or is it automatic?
That's automatic because you got a crit.
Altogether, I get 25 damage.
Right. You cleave.
That's horrific. That's horrific. I'm glad for you. That's horrific.
You
It's
cleave.
a D3 plus 3, so I got 10, then I got another 10, which is 20, plus 3, so that's 20, sorry, 26, plus 1, so altogether, sorry, 27 altogether. Fuck me.
Okay, right. You cleave the sword into him, and it's like you swipe the skin suit off him. His face contorts into a violently evil grimace. He bares his teeth in a hissing, animalistic snarl. His eyes roll back into their sockets, and you're shocked to witness russet-coloured spines rip out of his face. while the white robes and tapestry that hang around his torso are torn asunder by even greater spines that grow from his body. His arms and legs swell, and their pallid skin splits completely asunder with a sickening tearing noise, aided by your sword. What's left of his skin and flesh sloughs off to the floor in great swathes, which reveal a pair of clawed, lobster-like arms unfolding from the body, and a long lamprey-like tail. Finally, what's left of its facial skin tears away, revealing eyes like pitch-dark black pits, and the terrifying jaws of some needle-toothed deep-sea horror. Right. What's your ranks? So Caesaur's rank 7, isn't he?
Yep.
Okay. You are so horrified, you're stunned for next turn.
That's fine.
What's Elaine's rank? 7? Jack?
It's 7. I started eating a rice cake, I'm sorry.
No. Right, you're also horrified and stunned. Carradin's rank?
5.
Also stunned. Simprino is not stunned. Almiro is. Madrox's rank?
I'm only 4th, so I'm probably going to squeal like Ned Flanders.
Would you say this is a mind pog, Grim?
No, it's just raw terror.
Alright. Just pure
and what's Abbas's rank?
5 as well.
Okay. Yeah, most of you are too horrified to do anything. So... Right.
But that reliquary I've got, it does make me immune to fear.
Ah, well, you're all right then.
Oh. I just looked that up. I thought, I'm sure I have something that makes me immune.
Yes. Right, so Elaine's stun lifts for his turn, Carradin's stun lifts for her turn, but that's all you can do.
Oh yeah, I have a +2 to fear effects. I don't know if that counts or anything.
You've failed play enough that doesn't actually make any difference, but yeah, good thought.
That's fine.
Right, Simprino raises his bow and plonks an arrow square between the creature's eyes. It hisses but does not drop.
It'll be shellfish for dinner when we're done with him.
Sushi all round.
Right, what does Abbas wish to do?
So the priest is basically not what we thought it was. It's not human at all.
No, it's some kind of monstrous amalgam of sea creatures.
Right.
A brine demon.
Sushi legs.
I'll try giving it the old mystic blast.
Okay.
I thought you were making Popeye the Sailor.
You got no spinach.
Under 13, first of all. Oops. Completely lost the D20 then, just a sec. I'm not exhausted. It is a speed. It's range 30 meters, so we're definitely in range. Speed is 16.
Okay. Right, you need a 1 to 7 to hit it.
1 to 7.
Yeah.
Oh, a 5. Got it.
Okay, and how much damage does it do?
3d6 plus 1.
Nice.
Because I had to roll low on every single one. 6 points of damage.
How much?
6 points of damage.
Yes.
I got a 3, 2, 1. I know, it was like this shite.
Okay. You send a bolt of psychic energy at it, but its mind is so alien and peculiar that most of the energy sort of slides off it without properly harming it. Garcias grabs his daughter and backs away up the stairs as best he can, and we're on to the next turn. Right. The creature lunges for Semprino snaps out one of its claws at lightning speed and grabs at him.
Was he wearing a red shirt?
Obviously.
I was just about to say, who?
One of your hirelings. On the plus side, you won't have to pay him if he dies.
He was one of... He was my second favourite one.
Right, he is struck, but it fails to penetrate his armour. It fails to get a decent grip on him and just sort of knocks him back a bit, bouncing off the heavy chainmail and the gambeson he's got underneath it. So he stumbles backward, fumbling to try and knock another arrow. Right. Caesura, you are no longer stunned, but you can't act this turn. Elaine.
I'm no longer stunned, but I can act.
You can act, yeah.
Brilliant. Charge!
Okay, you hurtle in at the side of the thing. Make an attack roll at -3.
I hit.
Roll armor penetration.
Wow. 11.
And roll damage.
I would like that 8 again, please.
Tough.
No. 5.
Okay. You drive your blade into its side, but you're a little wary because you don't want to get stuck on any of these spines that are sticking out of it everywhere. So the wound's not as deep as it could have been. Caradon.
Jim?
Hmm?
Is it a bipedal pufferfish by any chance?
It's a weird combination of grotesque underwater things. Can Caradon make an intelligence roll, please?
Yes, indeed. I rolled a 13, and that is exactly my intelligence score.
Okay. You think you've read of something like this.
Oh my.
The Phorcides, children of the Titan Phorcys, father of Echidna. So, the ancient enemies of the gods.
Okay.
So it's their equivalent of a demon in many ways.
Do I know, or do I recall, rather than I want to, of course, use that knowledge to act if I can. Do I recall immediately, because of the danger of the moment, any vulnerabilities or
bronze
exploits that were used against them? Bronze.
They're weak to bronze weapons.
Okay, I will scream out in Icelandic. Use bronze against it. It's an ancient demon.
Do you wish to do anything else? Unleash any magic or stab it or?
Yes, I will fire. I'm marking the magic point off now here. A bolt of dragon's breath at it, and the speed rating here is 12, I believe.
Okay. You've only got a 1 to 3 chance of hitting it.
Oh, jeez. Well, here goes nothing. Nope. I rolled a 5.
Okay, you belch fire at it, but it's sort of almost swimming through the air as it moves between people, constantly shifting and changing form. And what little fire does strike it just seems to evaporate some of the wetness covering its surface. Alright, Semprino looses another arrow. This time he misses, knocked off his aim by being smacked around. Almiro recovers from being stunned. Madrock.
If only we had a sword that went to the opposite element of whatever you're hitting it. Well, as I'm using the short sword, I don't fancy getting spiked either, so I'm going to throw one of my daggers at it.
Okay, one of your many daggers. Right.
I do have many daggers.
Yes. And most of them are magic, I think.
Yeah. Actually, I did want to confirm with that. You've written down a couple of +1 daggers, and I wasn't sure if it was an extra dagger.
No, it's +1 magic, so it's +1 to armor penetration and +1 damage.
Well, I've got one that's listed as magic and 2 other +1s.
If it says +1, they're also magic.
Nice.
Yeah. Basically, any extra loot, there was just a +1 dagger that no one else wanted, I put on your sheet. So.
Perfect. Lovely. Little bandolier of them.
Yeah. So throwing it.
That,
Just roll under your attack to hit.
yep, that's easy money. Made it by 6.
Okay, what's the armor penetration on a thrown dagger?
I've got D4 and D6.
That's for in close combat, I think.
Oh yeah.
Let me see if I can find it. Okay, here we go. Thrown weapons. Thrown dagger is D3 and D6 damage.
So D3 plus 1 though, so 3.
Right, just hits into its skin and rebounds off.
Okay.
Plink.
Okie dokie.
Right, Abbas's go.
I will try and strike it with my sword.
Right. Okay, so you close in, following up on your psychic blast. Make an attack roll at -3.
It's under 12. Just made it.
Roll to penetrate armor.
D8 plus 2. 3.
That's not enough to penetrate this armor then.
Okay.
So your sword rebounds off, it snaps off one of the spines, but doesn't do it any real harm. Garcias and his daughter retreat up the steps. New turn. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, this time it reaches for Abbas. What's Abbas's defense?
Might be muted if you're trying to say something.
My defense is 8.
8. Okay. Right, it grabs hold of you with its lobster-like claws. What's your armor rating?
3.
Straight through your armor.
Yikes.
Yikes, indeed. 1 second. You take 12 points of damage.
Oi, oi, oi. I've got 1 hit point left.
So it grabs onto you with both claws, sort of lifts you off the ground and throws you aside into the wall. Where it grabbed you, loads of spines that are sort of projecting from its chitinous flesh have pierced your skin, but they fortunately don't seem to be poisoned. Right. And Caesaurus go.
Now, with shock attack, is it just for like backstabbing, or can I actually add it into my combat, or
You have to sneak up on something unseen and then unleash the attack, so it already knows you're there, so you can't shock attack it.
can I sort of like spin round and like go for a headlock?
Yep, you can try for its face.
Yep.
Take
try
3
that.
away. Take 3 away from your attack and roll.
6. Yeah, did it.
Okay, and roll armor penetration.
That would be 8.
And damage.
Okay, not as powerful this time. 9.
Right. You lop off several of the spines on its face, and a bluish, blood-like substance starts to ooze from the wounds. It is weakening. Elaine.
My shield raised, I'll defend blows from it, and waiting for an opening in its attacks before I can plunge my sword through its chitinous hide.
Right. Take 3 away from your attack and roll.
I succeed automatically. I was just rolling to see if I get a crit.
Or a botch. Okay. Armor penetration.
a 10.
10. Alright, clean through the armor and roll damage.
What's the word? Shaking the virtual dice. Now. Oh, 5.
5 damage.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You position yourself between it and Abbas's sort of bleeding form, ward off a bunch more blows, and stab in. A spine almost enters your flesh, but you manage to pull back at the last minute, but it stops the blow going as deep as it otherwise could have done. Caradon.
The Ring of Wraithwind that I have, has the character ever used it in the past? Would it fill this space or damage my allies in any way?
It would affect everyone in this space.
Okay, I'm not going to do that.
They're all...
I will draw my blade and rush forward to ward or protect. Can I? Anyway, I'll attack the creature with my blade. Then I'm not a frontline combatant, but I will give it a try with my short sword of Valandar.
Yeah, preparing your weapon takes your turn, but you can move in close, ready to attack.
Okay, then that is what I will do.
Okay, Semprino looses another arrow and misses.
Close in, just in range of its big greasy claws.
Almiro finally plants the banner in the ground, and you feel its protective aura adding +2 to everyone's defense. Right. Madrox, go. You muted?
Yeah, you're muted, aren't you?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to try hamstring, because that seems to be a
signature move.
Yeah.
You're not sure how many legs it has or which ones are legs, but yeah, you can cut through something.
Lots of targets.
Yeah. Take 3 away from your attack and roll.
Yeah, now I know it's a short sword, so I'll probably get spiked, but it is what it is. -3, so that's with sword 16, so 13 or less. Crap. No, 16. Would have done it without the defense. But...
You do prick your arm on some of its stickers, but its legs are tougher than they seem to be, so take 1 wound. Right, so, Abbas's go.
I'm going to stay far away from it. I'm going to cast. I'll try blasting it again with the Mystic Blast.
Okay, go for it.
I'm just going to stay out of arm's reach so it can't grab me again.
Yeah. So hobble away, leaning against the wall.
Yeah. So I need to roll on, just see if I'm exhausted first. Oh, just made it. So it is. Where are we? Speed 16.
Okay, so 1 to 6 to hit it. Sorry, 1 to 7 to hit it.
Oh, rolled a 1. It's on a D20, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, rolled a 1.
Okay, double the damage.
Oh, cool. $19.
Okay, so yeah, you sort of slide down the wall from where it threw you and shuffle back along it. Bring your hand up to your temple and concentrate. There's a gathering of mystical energy, and then an incredibly powerful bolt of magic, perhaps imbued with some of your own pain, blasts along the room, knocking some of the other fighters out of the way, and strikes the creature. There's an enormous cracking sound, and its body just explodes, showering you all with blue goo, and the little blue flame goes out.
I'm a blue smurf.
What was that?
Do it again.
That, my friend, we call it the
What
power of the mind.
That was an ancient Titan spawn, one of the sworn enemies of the gods, akin to what we would call a demon.
It's good that it has been smoten then.
I thought that was the Titans myself. But, good.
What's left of the old wooden caskets in this room has also been blown asunder by all the magic and thrashing around. And there's several glittering things amongst the remnants.
I'll pick one up from my feet and inspect it.
It's a golden crown studded with sapphires.
Gold and jewels.
There's a golden conch shell, a serpentine box, small stone box with a corroded brass lock, and that's it. So, crown, golden conch, serpentine box, small stone box.
I will eyeball Garcias and see if he's going to immediately jump in and lay claim to anything. Do any of these seem familiar?
He comes creeping forward again with his daughter. No, these aren't what I seek. Help yourselves. Though he does open the serpentine box, which appears to contain clay flasks. And the small stone box seems to be empty, apart from a scallop shell. So yeah, after that, he's like, I care nothing for these baubles.
Abbas, you dealt the killing blow. Perhaps you should take your pick.
I wonder if there's any healing potions there.
Well, your mystic sight only sees magic on the serpentine box, which contains 6 stoppered clay flasks, each marked with a trident. Those are the only things that seem to be magical.
Okay, I'll take one out. And is anyone actually an alchemist in our party?
Caradon
I have some training, yes.
is training to make potions, so
I've got basic alchemy as well, then.
a different kind though.
Oh, right.
Sure, can you have a look at this, see if you can identify what it could be?
I like the fact that Abbas seems to be on the verge of death and we all just kind of don't care.
He's still breathing, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's only a flesh wound.
Can
Allow me first to tend to your wounds, and I will unfurl my scroll of greater healing.
yeah.
And I will ask folks, please step back a bit. I need a little room to work. And I will unroll the scroll ceremoniously and begin an incantation, or I will begin reading it and using it to invoke the magic.
Yep. And then it burns away like flash paper, and Abbas regains 10 health points.
While everyone's
And,
while everyone's distracted by that, I'll go over to the daughter.
Yeah.
If she needs any more water, and I'll say thank you for saving us.
You just sort of barely see her eyes underneath the hood. She has really piercing blue eyes, like almost Fremen-like, and she just nods and hands you back the empty water skin that Caradon gave it.
Well, I'll try it for mine.
Yeah.
Or mine if she prefers.
I will indeed examine a few of the items, and Jim, what I'll do is I'll perhaps say, may I start with the conch, please? While the rest of you perhaps discuss our next few steps, I will concentrate over here on it, and I'll make it appear as if I'm examining the conch shell, but I'd like to kind of obfuscate what I'm really doing. I will try to, have I already detected the aura of the daughter? Was I able to read anything from her? I don't know if I did. I was thinking of doing it.
You did, and Abbas looked at her. She is magical, but it's a sort of natural magic.
What do you mean by natural magic?
Like something that's innately born with magical ability and doesn't need to study for it.
Okay, so she would not clearly then be human, at least not by the standard definition. She may be humanoid in form and be a sentient being with a soul and a mind and so on, but not
Yeah.
anything we would rightly call human.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing you might see on a changeling or that sort of thing.
And her aura, did it have any similarities or marked differences from her father?
Yeah, her father doesn't have like a really a spark of magic to him at all. When you look at him, he could be hiding it somehow, perhaps, because he does seem to have at least exercised or used magical artifacts or abilities with his wolf knights and so on. But he doesn't seem to have any real magic. Her magic, you did look at her before with your aura vision, and she did seem to have a magical aura that was tied to the water.
Brother Abbas, may I consult with you about this a moment, and hopefully the others are hobnobbing together over there.
And you're 90% certain those sealed clay jars are healing potions.
Hey.
Okay. I will. These are almost certainly potions of life restoration. They will heal the imbiber. Brother Abbas, I suspect Garcias has some hold over her. I don't think she's his daughter. She's probably some enthralled creature, I suspect. I don't know if we should do something about that. What do you think? Perhaps Madra, could we have your help over here a moment? There's something here I can't quite decipher.
I'll wander over, wiping that blue crap off me, because no one else seems to bother doing that. That's disgusting. The comedy wipe on the eyes. And
I'll reiterate my concern. I think she may be some semi-divine creature of what were called gods in these parts, perhaps in thrall to Garcias. Do you think we should do anything to free her or intervene, or is that overstepping?
oh, lots of questions. It's well outside of our contract. I'll definitely want more information.
Perhaps you could discreetly inquire with Cesora and Sir Elaine, so it doesn't appear as if I'm too finger in the pie, kind of.
That'll be interesting. They'll kill him, all right. But then, if she's not human, is he controlling her for good reason? I mean, if
This is why
things like in this world, things like elves, although technically they're people, they don't have like souls. So if she's a fae or something else, maybe the control he's got her under would be beneficial. That said, she did just save her life, because I was going to leave that guy to the surface. I thought he'd done his time, and
I'll try. Perhaps could you create a distraction, one that I will definitely know when I see it, to distract Garcia, so that I might have a quick word with her or prompt her or approach her. I'll kind of linger around them, and maybe in 5 or 10 minutes time as we continue, if you could create some form of distraction to draw Garcias's attention away.
I'll stroll over and I'll start asking him very detailed questions about the item that we're looking for.
Okay.
We're hitting a lot of items that look the same. There's lots of conches. There's all sorts of designs that are the same. So something to narrow it down, and I'm gonna pour that on. Also, it will help if we do find the thing we're actually after.
Baffle him with bullshit, yes?
Yeah, well, every lie should contain a germ of truth.
So what he's seeking is called the Compass of the Eternal Sea. It's a bowl carved with stylized waves, and within it should be a small metal pointer in the shape of a trident. So And he starts going off and off and off into details. So yeah,
I'll show him I'm distracting him. I'll show him my compass goblet.
yeah.
So of a similar nature to this, what would be the difference?
Your compass shows north. This compass shows whatever you wish it to take you to.
There's going to be a movie made about that, isn't there?
Okay, so while he's being kept busy,
I will try to draw the daughter's eye, and if I could maybe step forward, I'll make it appear. I'll try to make it appear, very nonchalant, so that Garcias is not alerted. And while he's perhaps distracted or gesticulating or more focused on Madrock, I'll step forward and whisper to her, "Do you need our help? Are you free or enthralled to him?"
She seems too sort of terrified to say much of anything. She just keeps glancing at you and then glancing at Garcias. So he definitely seems to have some kind of hold over her.
If you say nothing, if you don't answer my question, perhaps you're even forbidden from doing it. Fight now to answer, or I will assume you need our help to be free.
She lifts one trembling finger and points to Garcias and then points to her neck.
You are a slave. Okay. You cannot talk. He controls your speech. Yes, I understand. Thank you.
She reaches up, and you've probably got some sort of necklace or something. And she tugs on that and points to it, and then points to him.
Yes, I understand. I understand. Thank you. I'll make my way over to Cesora and try and draw his attention away. Cesora, I have a question for you about one of those traps. You saw that flagstone and whatnot in the floor. What do you think? And while and I'll just kind of wink at him, like vomit up some information. And while he goes on, yes.
Yep.
While he goes on a little bit, I'll say, "Is there any way you can slip up behind Garcias and rip that necklace away from him? It's what he's using to control her."
Yeah, I can try. Stay back in half boots and half light.
I'll then sidle over to Sir Elaine and explain quickly what's happening. She's enthralled to him. Cesora will attempt to remove his necklace. It may be the tool of control.
Now, would that be classed as a pickpocket?
It would. I'm not sure if Madrock can pick pockets as well or not.
Yeah, but I haven't been told about this, so I'm distracting.
Yeah. You're keeping him distracted. Okay, so I think it's called Pilfer, isn't it?
Yeah, I do have that.
Yeah. Pilfer. Stealth at -4 to pick someone's pocket. It's a necklace, so
I'm gonna need a fucking miracle.
yeah.
Just as he's approaching, perhaps, if I can suss this out, just as he's approaching Garcias' back, I'll say, if I'm allowed to do this, let me know. My intention is to call out a cry. "Another one from the water! It's foaming!" So that he's all, freaked out or whatever and distracted.
So distract him. Yeah. Okay, so what is Cesora's stealth?
25.
Yes.
25.
It's
Okay,
nearly
so
twice what mine is. So.
we take away 4, taking it down to 21.
Yep.
Because picking pockets is difficult anyway. It would be even more difficult because it's around his neck, but the distraction will counteract that. Then we take away his perception, which means you have to roll 17 or under.
Oh, here goes nothing.
You're pretty sneaky.
I can't look. Fucking hell. 15.
Okay, while he's distracted, you quickly slip your hand up his back with just the tip of your dagger and cut through the thong of the necklace, and it drops into your other hand without him noticing. What? Where? It's just shadows. You could have killed me, frightening me like that. Cesaro, what has dropped into your hand is a leather thong that is strung through 2 dried up and shriveled ear tips, like you'd severed like a third of the ear of an elf to cut it down to human shape.
So it's been clipped.
Yeah. The skin's somewhat bluish and slightly scaly, and the scales are flaking away off it.
Okay. Uh,
How has the daughter reacted? I'll try to
I'm-
catch her eye. Said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm prompting you too soon. Forgive me."
I'm just checking.
You have freed me. Now you die.
damn pesky kids! Damn pesky kids!
Oh, Jack, I hope you're wrong. I hope you're wrong. I hope you're wrong.
I did
That's
say.
usually the way.
I just need to look something up quickly.
No good deed goes unpunished. That's rule number 1.
Why don't we give Jim a chance to spend a little time stress-free looking that up and have maybe a loo break or something?
Yeah. Take 5 minutes. I'll put the weight screen up. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Right, and we're back. Right, so the necklace comes away, and you sort of look at it in your hand, and the girl gives an enormous shriek that echoes throughout the entire dungeon. Garcias turns with a look of horror and puts his hand to his neck, and from out of her mouth comes a torrent of water, which slams into him with the force of the bottom of the sea and smashes him against the rear wall, and he just sort of bursts under the torrent of water.
Wow.
He's just annihilated by it, and then she falls, sort of shaking to her knees with the water running away into the corners and down the stairs and everything, and just sits there shaking, while what's left of Garcias oozes down the wall and mixes with the water.
If she seems shaken or vulnerable or like traumatized by what she's just done or unleashed, if it seems that way from her body language and whatnot, I'll rush towards her to try and comfort her.
Yeah, she shrinks away reflexively, but then relaxes because you've taken the time to be nice to her this whole time.
Okay.
I'll
I'm
walk up.
in shock at my water bottle. He did that.
I'll walk up to where Keldon is with the young girl and say, "Yours, my lady." And I'll show her the necklace.
She pulls back her hood. Her hair is sort of black with a green sheen, and it looks like it's been crudely cut back with a knife. The tops of her ears are covered in scars. As she sort of shrugs out of the cloak, you realise she's not a child at all, but a woman, a beautiful woman, much like many of the figures on these walls. She's just small. She's about maybe 5 foot high, with a bluish sheen to her skin. Her lips are chapped. She's covered in cuts and bruises. If she'd been fed properly, she'd probably be voluptuous, but her childlike appearance seems to come from as much being starved as anything else. It's fairly clear that Garcias was abusing her as much as anything.
I'll just hug her and hold her in just to give her that touch. Although if she recoils, I'll ease back, but I'll give her the opportunity to collapse into me if that's what she needs or wants. Or
she's stiff for a moment and then relaxes into it and then pulls back again. You see gills fluttering at her neck, which would normally be covered by the hair. She reaches out a hand gingerly towards Cesora. My ears.
I'll give her ears.
Yeah.
Offer a healing potion.
Yeah, she'll drink that. A lot of the bruises and cuts and things heal, but it doesn't grow her hair back or count as food, so she still seems ungodly thin.
Question:
I sort of wince as you give her that healing potion, like worth 200 crowns.
Now, Grim, I'm no doctor and I'm no surgeon. Will my last golden apple do anything? Yes or no?
It would heal her a little bit more, but it wouldn't do anything more than that.
I'll give her my last golden apple just as a treat.
Okay. Yeah. She ties the necklace with her own ears on it around her neck and eats the
I was going to tie it for her. Yeah, I'll tie it for her. Yeah. Excuse me?
I say to her, do you have a name?
She does. She pauses as if she's forgotten it for a moment. The GM flips through the book. Actually, he never named her, and I have no name of my own.
May we perhaps call you Aqua?
Aqua, really?
But yeah, why not? You may.
If you have any greater lore than I about the working of different alchemical mixtures and so on, I have a potion or an elixir called Elixir Vitae. It can return the dead to life. Might it aid you? You're not dead, but it may heal.
I just need to return to the sea and my people.
I understand. Is this place sacred to you and your people, or are we trespassing?
We are or were servants of Poseidos. Until that man captured me, I just lived free in the sea with my sisters. He used me to get to this place.
I'm sorry we inadvertently aided in his continuing abuse of you.
Well, he is dead now.
Is he ever?
I was angry.
After what he
will
did,
May I ask, is Poseidus still active? Do gods die? I don't know how long ago all this was built.
He lives. Few gods ever truly die, but he has retreated from the world as the world has retreated from him.
Odds. I pretend I'm not hearing this.
La la la.
I was just thinking about that. Sir Elaine strikes me as someone who's quite pious, so this might be worthy of an eyebrow or an askance, a look askance at his reactions.
I am free, but we are all trapped in this place.
I thought we could walk out.
The room collapsed behind us. You remember?
No, I might have missed that. Okay, there was that crack leading upwards.
Yes.
Might be worth investigating that.
Unless you still seek the treasure that Garcia sought.
Well,
Would they not by right belong to you and your people, perhaps as recompense for the slavery you endured?
You've freed me. You deserve a reward.
it's not like he's going to use it any longer.
About the only artifact that would be any use to Garcias right now is a sponge.
Bob's his uncle.
oh God.
They sort of wisely kick at what little remains.
I will help you however I can, but I'm still very weak.
Is there anything we can do other than immediately taking you to the sea to replenish your vitality?
We've got rations, haven't we?
She needs seawater, I presume, something filled with the essence of life in her land.
There was
Her-
salt
well,
water
her
in
realm.
that. There was salt water in that cave. I could rest there
Yeah.
and regenerate while you finish your explorations.
Are you
Sounds
certain?
like a
You certain there's no threats there?
There's no threat to me, though.
sounds like a wondrous idea.
Okay.
I think yes.
So you can take her back to the cave and deposit her there, and that seems like a natural break point, because there is one arm of the temple left, and we can investigate that next time.
Okay. I will leave her with one of my daggers just in
Just in
case
case.
she's wrong.
Yeah.
I hear there's a magic shield here somewhere.
Yes. Somewhere.
Hoping we can find
Yes,
it.
Garcias mentioned that. I can tell
Yeah.
you about it just before we break.
Oh, I feel good. I feel good.
Oh, by the way,
I'm one
John.
of those. I'm one of those gamers who's a forever DM. I don't get to play very often, so this felt good.
Yeah, I normally DM as well.
The shield. Garcias
John,
mentioned.
Did you say you had the PlayStation 4 job?
I do, but I don't often boot it up. I tend to play the Xbox. I play World of Tanks occasionally, and I've recently cottoned on to World of Warships, and it's rather addictive. I can have the dog on one side of my lap in my big chair, and I can play usually with one hand on the joystick with the other.
No, it's just because I've got PS4, and I was just wondering. My son's got
I
an
don't know.
Xbox 4.
Oh yeah, he's sleeping on the bed just behind me.
Oh, bless him.
Ah,
I don't know
yes.
if you saw him
Okay,
earlier.
the
He
shield
was,
that you mentioned is called Gull's Cry, and it's as good as your current shield and gives you +4 defense.
Oh.
So there we go.
Oh, we have to find that shit.
But we shall break for today.
Hmm.
I know, Jack, you probably won't be able to make it on Tuesday,
Tuesday.
but we'll
Same.
Yeah,
we'll blag the
Because
shield for you.
I have to go to sleep at 9 o'clock.
Yeah. If anyone knows someone else who might want to play and will be able to make it, we do have a permanent free slot now. So, yeah, just let me know if you find anyone. Otherwise, we'll see anyone who's watching on Tuesday, same time. See most of you, hopefully, on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll be back Saturday.
See you then.
Cheers, everyone. Good night.
Good.